Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This would be board number 42 from Dubious positions and how to attack them. The authors are Master Xiangqi and Grandmaster Xiangqi from China, and the trilogy of opening books that they wrote back in the 1990s is considered one of the best books on Xiangqi opening theory for decades. It is great pleasure to it is great pleasure for me to have obtained permission for them to use the material to publish this set of series of videos. So without further ado, let us begin. Now, from this video onwards, we'll be starting with the sandwich house defense. Central cannon. Now, the Pell corner cannon, Palace corner cannon, Pell corner cannon for short, is the hallmark or the most important move in the sandwich house defense. With this cannon, it will control this file and discourage red from developing the horse, otherwise it will be a cannon skewer immediately. 1 equals to 2, sandwich house defense. 2 horses are protecting the central pawn from attack by the red cannon. P7 plus 1, this is one of the major lines. P3 plus 1 is also commonly seen. And when usually red plays P7 plus 1, black will counter likewise, so that the effects of this pawn is negated. And with P7 plus 1, it would also imply that red would most probably be prepared to develop his horse as a proper horse, and he would have to do something about the cannon preparing to skewer. In this board, red attacks. This is one of the more traditional methods of attack, with R2 plus 6 preparing to play R2 equals to 3. Now, in the sandwich house defense, the issue of this horse, black's left horse, is the key point. If the horse were able to be developed, black were able to develop the horse, red will usually be in trouble. So, in this board, black played H7 plus 6. Now this would be the dubious move in this situation, because black cannot fortify his central file at this point in time. And although with this move, black would be prepared to play P7 plus 1 to dislodge the red chariot, it would actually cause fundamental weaknesses in his formation. And this would actually mark the beginning of a potential crisis for black. Usually, instead, R9 plus 2 to protect the horse, or A4 plus 5 is played, A4 plus 5 to allow the development of this chariot as a kingside chariot after moving the elephant for defense later on. Now these are considered to be the normal moves in this situation. But if P7 plus H7 plus 6, this will result in an immediate dubious position, and immediately red will counter with P7 plus 1, sacrificing the pawn for attack. Now this is a very powerful move. Now all other moves would miss out on an opportunity for red to gain a considerable lead. For example, if C8 equals to 7 to attack the pawn preparing to capture the horse, black will immediately pounce on the chance to advance his horse across the river to threaten the cannon, and P7 plus 1 would not be a viable alternative at this point in time. Now, R2 equals to 4 would also not be viable because the cannons would be linked. Black would simply charge the horse across the river, and black would start attacking. Now, faced with this move, black is forced to capture the pawn. He cannot try to play P7 plus 1. If he did, red will play R2 equals to 4 to threaten the horse. H6 plus 4, so the pawn is useless, and red would have more pawns and enjoy the advantage. So P7 plus 1 is not a viable move, and the awkward positioning of the horses would mean that black would have to use up at least 1 to 2 more moves to deal with this issue. So P3 plus 1, but in doing so, red will now place C8 equals to 7. And this would be the position of discussion for this board. Now there are two main variations, the first of which would be h6 minus 5, the second would be e3 plus 5. Now at this point in time, it would not be a good idea to try to dislodge the red chariot with c2 plus 1, because red could simply play r2 plus 1, and now black is bound to lose material. It will be a double attack because the cannon was attacking the horse and the chariot was attacking the cannon. So let us go to variation A, h6 minus 5. Now this is one method of play that would not result in a loss of material, but as can be seen with the horse advancing and then retreating, black had already lost tempo, and the loss of tempo would not be as great as the eventual loss in the weakening of the position. And seeing that black had played h6 minus 5, red will usually continue his attack with h8 plus 9. As you can see, red's formation is very nice, very stable, very firm, very powerful. Now, this is also an important move to make because red will bypass a small trap that black could have tried. So, with this move, if he had captured the cannon, hoping to capture the pawn, black would be more than happy to trade material, because now the cannon would be attacking the elephant over here for a check to capture the red chariot. So check, and red had hoped that with h5 plus 4, black would move an advisor, and then he could link his elephants up for defense. But because of this, red will lose at least one chariot. Now, why is this so? Because if let's say red chose to move this chariot, it will be a check, and the horse cannot move, or this would be a checkmate. So red will lose one chariot, and of course, obviously, black is going to win the game. So let us retreat a little bit. h8 plus 9 is very important because it will allow for development of the chariot, and also allow the chariot to protect the elephant from future attacks, as red will be prepared to gain material. Black will usually counter with c2 plus 1. Now this is the best move possible. He will not have any hope with other plays, for example with r1 equals to 2, because if this were done, red would develop his left chariot. Black would advance. This is a commonly used tactic, but at this point in time, in this situation, red can boldly develop his edge horse for attack. Black can only defend with a4 plus 5. c2 plus 5 is not an option, even though black would think that he would sacrifice his cannon to gain this chariot with this discovered check, because black can't counter with a check in this of his own. So at this point in time, black could be put in a dilemma. If he did, red could capture the chariot and gain material, and the cannon will still be under attack. So would be the horse. So black could lose even more material, and this would be a hopeless situation for black. So h7 after a4 plus 5, red would develop the horse to the riverbank, and this horse would become a very, very powerful entity, preparing to go h5 plus 6 for the elbow horse, or capture the pawns, etc., etc. And it would also guard this. Pawn from possible sneak attacks by the cannon. Red rapidly increases the initiative. c2 plus 1, and black will retreat his chariot to the riverbank rank. This is the most powerful move that red can afford. If he played c5 plus 4, black could be more than happy to trade material. You could now attack with c2 plus 4, one cannon pinning 3 pieces. Red would usually defend in this manner, and black will usually continue with c6 plus 5 to force a trade of material. And he can, after simplifying material, he can still deal with black's aggressions, red's aggression, sorry. So r2 minus 1, 2 will be red's best bet. c2 equals to 3, hoping to trade material. After trading material, red will now capture the red will now play c5 equals to 7, threatening to gain material, forcing the horse back. Now this is a much better move than playing r2 equals to 3, because black would now have up his defenses, and this chariot would have problem for future development. c2 r2 equals to 3 to capture the pawn, allow this pawn to be moved and allow for development of this horse. e3 plus 1, as red will also threaten to capture the pawn. And now the red chariot would have developed, and as can be seen by the 13th ply, black had not moved either one of his chariots, and this would become a major issue later on. So this would be variation A. Now to variation B. e3 plus 5. Black would choose to sacrifice material, hoping that he could attack and may perhaps gain back lost material in the process. This is a relatively much more tenacious way of playing, but black cannot avoid losing material. Now e3 plus 5. Okay, this will be version B. Again, a short recall: if c2 plus 1, red will play r2 plus 1 and still gain material. Now, version B, red will be more than happy to gain material. Black will sacrifice this cannon because his horse will be a more powerful entity. And this is black's best way of countering by developing the horse to the riverbank. The black cannon will be attacking the chariot. This pawn will still be protecting the central pawn from any possible attacks by the central cannon. Now, if black tried to gain back a chariot or even go for the horse cannon checkmate with this move, the red chariot would retreat in time to prevent h2 plus 3 from happening. And once he is able to defend against this move, he will take his time to develop his left flank, and any threats of an attack on the left flank would now fall. Red would also be prepared to capture the black horse at this point in time, and red will enjoy the material and positional advantage. So h3 plus 2 is better than h4 plus 2. Red retreats the chariot to the pawn rank. A very important move. He cannot be casual. There's still traps by black. He cannot be casual and play r4 minus 3, because black will now push the pawn forward and gain some form of compensation. With the pawn crossing the riverbank rank, the horses are still linked. Black cannot capture the central pawn either, and black would have a hard time developing his left flank. And this would lead us to the second position of discussion. Now, in this, there are two main variations. The first would be p3 plus 1, the second would be a4 plus 5. In variation BA, p3 plus 1 is played. Red would switch formations and play c7 equals to 6 for defense. Now, this is a proactive way. He maintains a situation whereby he still has the material advantage. Okay. Oh, sorry. If red was too eager to attack, h4 minus 5. After trading material, red will continue to simplify the situation, and this would be a fork, and immediately black would gain back lost material and gain an extra pawn that has crossed the river. So black would turn the tables instead. c7 equals to 6. Best defense. p3 plus 1. Black tries to mount an attack. Trade of material. Black must accept, otherwise, if he played a4 plus 5, thinking that he still had an attack going on, red would retreat the cannon, and black would go for r4 plus 2, hoping to go for the elbow horse check. The chariot cannot move. If it moved, it would be immediately captured. Even if it moved here, this would be a check followed by capture. But red would have nothing to be worried about because he was just simply coolly and calmly play a4 plus 5. Now, black cannot think that he can gain material after this move. Let's say, for example, if he played this, check, red will naturally move the king out. Then if he captured, it will be an immediate checkmate. So that is why red has nothing to be worried about. And once the king moved out, black would be forced to defend against this checkmate. For example, with e3, e7 plus 9, and red would be take his time to threaten the black horse, which will be retreated, and he'll be able to up his defenses in the nick of time. So red would have still have a very favorable attack going on. So that is why black must capture the red cannon. But in doing so, his most powerful attacking piece will now be traded off the board. So r4 plus 5, r4 equals to 5. Again, red goes for an attack with the other horse. Red will counter in this manner. If the horse moved here, there's always r9 plus 1. So let's say black moves the cannon away. e7 plus 5. Red's attack, black's attack would have faltered. And there's nothing much you can do at this point in time. And again, by the 15th, black had not moved neither of these chariots, so red's advantage is very, very pronounced. The pawn cannot move, or the horse would be lost if it advanced. There are many things that black could do. He could push the cannon forward, threatening to capture, and the pawn will be easily captured later on. This would be variation BA. Variation BB, a4 plus 5, black chooses to defend, but red will be more than happy to capture the central pawn to secure his advantage. Now this is a very important move to make. a4 plus 5 in preparation for this move will not be a good idea, because black will first dislodge the chariot, which it cannot capture the central pawn as the black horse is protecting it. And black will push his pawn across the river. Again, the pressure on this flank will be tremendous, and black would have acquired a situation that he can be satisfied with in compensation for the loss of his cannon. r1 goes to 4. Very sneak attack. Black, with this move, black hopes to capture the horse and then capture the pawn. Sorry, black hopes to capture the horse and then capture the cannon with the angler horse checkmate in place. Now, also with this move, black can also play r4 plus 3 later on to try to get back lost material, and which is why black would move, play c5 minus 1 to threaten the black horse instead. Now if he chose to play c7 equals to 5, black would actually turn the tables. For example, he will first pin the cannon, allowing his king safety, some form of safety. p5 plus 1. Sorry, black would be ready to gain material. Capture. The pawn tries to protect the cannon, but black is already prepared with c2 plus 2. It would be inevitable for black to red to lose material, and black will reclaim the advantage instead. So that's why c7 equals to 5 is a bad idea. And at this point in time, again, black attempts a sneak attack. Now black gains back one piece with this very brilliant move. Now, it'll be better than playing h4 plus 2, thinking that he would be able to attack, because again red would threaten to go for the iron bolt. Black an intermediate move in preparation for the iron bolt. Black red defense, check, again threatening to checkmate, so the horse cannot capture the red chariot. R5 equals to 4, and red would now be more than happy to trade material, and red would have the advantage. C2 equals to 7. Now, black will continue with this move, a very nice move. This would threaten to capture the chariot. Now he cannot under any circumstances capture the cannon. Otherwise, black would capture the cannon, threaten the chariot, and more importantly, threaten to checkmate with the angler horse checkmate. So red would lose the chariot because he must move, and suddenly black would have turned the tables, and even gain the material advantage, because now if he captured, black would lose red would lose more material, and the two chariots would become too much for red to handle. So that is why black cannot under any circumstances capture the black cannon. Red goes on the attack, protects the cannon, at the same time threatening this file. Red would defend, at the same time preparing to go for the iron bolt. And at this point in time, both colors will be attacking, but it will be fairly obvious that red would have the huge advantage, because hereafter red would have the options of playing k5 equals to 4 to threaten with the iron bolt. The cannon has controlled this file, so black can only, from here on, let's say after pushing the pawn, let's say black tried to develop chariot, there's always the iron bolt. The king cannot move out because the cannon would have controlled this file, so black can only defend in this manner. So the chariot cannot leave, and there will be many things for red to continue with, etc. There's always r9 plus 2, c6 equals to 4 to capture the advisor by force, etc. So red would have the significant advantage. So let us do a quick review from the eyes of black. Let me retract a little bit. Okay, central cannon, pale corner cannon, sandwich horse defense. Red chooses p7 plus 1, which is okay. Black counters with p7 plus 1, r2 plus 6, and dubious move. This would be the move that would lose the game for black. A very sharp attack, p7 plus 1. c8 equals to 7 is not a good idea, because the black horse would now have crossed the river to attack. Sorry. p3 plus 1, black is forced to move. Now, if he played p7 plus 1 to dislodge the chariot as planned, r2 equals to 4, red would have more pawns and enjoy the advantage. c8 equals to 7, another tightly move attack, position of discussion, variation A, variation B, and black cannot play c2 equals to 1, otherwise he will lose material for sure. Variation A, h8 plus 9, red chooses to develop his left flank, cover up some potential weaknesses, and more importantly, allow the chariot to be developed and also protect the elephant. Now he cannot be greedy and hoping to capture the horse, hoping to attack from center, because the cannon would now be attacking, and if c5 plus 4, black would move the horse, threaten the chariot. Let's say if it moved, red would lose the other chariot. The horse cannot move either. If the king moves, it will be even more trouble. So red will lose one chariot and probably the game so early in the game. A more proactive move, c2 plus 1. He cannot play r1 equals to 2 because red would develop the horse for attack. Again, if he captured the central pawn, thinking that he would gain material, counter capture, and red gains material. So red rapidly gains the advantage. So retreating the chariot will be best for red as he continues to attack. A trade of cannons. Black is forced to move the horse back again, capturing the pawn, allowing for red to develop his right horse later on, and also threaten to capture the pawn, forcing black to play e3 plus 5, and red would develop both e3 plus 1, and red would develop both chariots. The formation, red's formation is very strong and stable. He will not have to be afraid of any potential attacks by black, and he could take his time to develop material for the final kill. Red has the advantage. Variation B, e3 plus 5. Black decides to sacrifice material, hoping to orchestrate an attack on this flank. R2 equals to 4. Red gains material gladly. And this would be black's best bet with h3 plus 2. h3 plus 2, r4 plus 2 would not be a good idea because the red chariot would retreat and defend in time. He could then continue to develop material, and the material advantage will become pronounced later on. h3 plus 2, r4 minus 1. This is the second position of discussion for this board. R4 equals to 3 would be a bad idea because the pawn will be allowed. Black will gain some form of compensation by allowing the pawn to cross the river, and this would place a lot of pressure on this flank. R4 minus 1, P3 plus 1, variation BA, variation BB, A4 plus 5, variation BA, C7 equals to 6, defense, P3 plus 1. Trading cannons is imperative. Black cannot afford to play a4 plus 5 as he would not have to be afraid of the elbow horse, because if, let's say, red continue, check, there's also a checkmate possible. Black must defend, and red would now develop his red chariot, offer a trade of material he would be more than willing to do so, and black would be in all sorts of trouble. A4 plus 5, R4 plus 5. Again, the black horse threatens in the nick of time. And red would now beef up his defenses immediately, and there's nothing much that black can do at this point in time, and the material loss that he sustained will become more and more pronounced later on. Variation BB, A4 plus 5. Again, a very important move by red to secure the advantage, capturing central pawn. Now, A4 plus 5 is a bad idea because, again, the pawn, black will still have some attack going on this flank. There's nothing that these three pieces can do, and black would have managed a playable position. 1 equals to 4, a very sneaky move. C5 minus 1, a very important move, threatening to gain material. If C7 equals to 5, black would turn the tables instead with R4 plus 3 to pin, preparing to gain material, and there's always an attack on this flank. P5 plus 1, because black would first take out the cannon, retreat the horse to gain back lost material, and P5 plus 1, but C2 plus 2 is waiting. So the pawn cannot move. The red chariot would have pinned black's chariot and cannon and be prepared to gain material. Black reclaims the advantage. So that's why c5 minus 1 must be played to give this chariot an open rank for attack. A very nice move by black to gain back lost material. h4 plus 2 will be slow. Again, if black went for the check to try to capture the chariot, red would threaten to checkmate, and black would have to defend in this manner. Red wins. So c7 plus 5. Now is the correct time to double down on the central file. Check, threatening to checkmate. Black moves his king out, and red activates his last chariot. In the nick of time. The black horse does not have any good move at this point in time, and red would have the advantage. So c2 plus 7, a good move by black, but if red managed to play well, he will still have a playable game. A counter to check, countering to threaten the black chariot, and black counters again to protect the cannon, and also attack the red cannon, forcing red to play. f4 plus 5. Black immediately tries to dislodge the central cannon, his biggest threat, but red could play p5 plus 1, and he would have a very playable situation. Red can continue with r9 plus 2, c6 equals to 4, etc, etc. So the quick review, black final summary. Black's biggest mistake stemmed from this move, thinking that he could be proactive to play p7 plus 1, dislodge the red chariot and gain some tempo. But position of discussion, red sacrifices material to gain this position of discussion. Variation A, a6 plus 5. Black activates all his material, even though black does not lose material, but red's positioning is simply too excellent. Variation B, e3 plus 5. There are will lead to this second position of discussion. Black tries his best to attack this flank, but if red defended well, let's say variation BA, e7 plus 5, red would have gained the material, upped his defenses, and there will be nothing much that black can do at this point in time. Variation BB, let's say black chooses to develop this chariot and also up his defenses, but again, if red handled well, he would have a nice position. So I hope you've enjoyed this short video. This is quite a very basic line, one board that must be learned when playing the Xiangqi Short's defense. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. Thank you.